She thought he loved her, but that dinner was planned. Hours later, she woke up inside a garbage bag, struggling to breathe, while the man she trusted stole her entire life. And the worst part, he watched her collapse without blinking, but they didn't know. The woman inside that garbage bag was a billionaire. And the poor worker who found her? He was about to become the reason her enemies lost everything. This is Broken Then Powerful, where pain turns into power. Sophia Monroe looked like the kind of woman people ignored. Soft voice, simple clothes, natural beauty hidden behind quiet eyes. She never wore expensive jewelry, never bragged, never acted rich. And that was exactly why people underestimated her, especially her husband, Daniel Carter, a charming businessman with a perfect smile and expensive suits. When Sophia first met him, he treated her like she mattered more than the world itself. Late-night drives through the city, flowers sent to her office, kisses on her forehead before bed. And promises. So many promises. Sophia believed every word, because unlike most rich heirs, she never wanted someone to love her money. She wanted real love. That's why she kept her real identity secret. Nobody knew she secretly owned one of the largest real estate companies in New York. Hotels, luxury towers, private investments, billions of dollars, all inherited from her late father. Even Daniel didn't know, and that would become his biggest mistake. At first, their marriage looked perfect, but slowly, Daniel changed. The sweet husband disappeared. The cold man arrived. He became impatient whenever money was mentioned, angry whenever Sophia questioned him. Sometimes he would stare at her silently, like he was calculating something. "You don't understand pressure," he once told her coldly. "You've never struggled a day in your life." Sophia stayed quiet, because she still loved him, even when he stopped loving her back. Then one night, Daniel came home smiling again. For the first time in months, he brought expensive wine, cooked dinner himself, played soft music in the penthouse. Sophia felt hope returning to her heart. Maybe things were finally changing. Maybe the man she married was still there. But she didn't know. That dinner was planned from the beginning. Halfway through the meal, Sophia's vision blurred. Her hands trembled. The glass slipped from her fingers. "Daniel," her voice shook. The room spun violently around her, and then she saw him, sitting calmly across the table, watching her collapse, without panic, without fear, without emotion. That was the moment Sophia realized he poisoned her. She tried to stand, but her legs gave up. Her body crashed onto the marble floor, and as darkness slowly swallowed her vision, Daniel leaned closer and whispered, "You should have signed the papers willingly." Everything went black. Hours later, rain hammered the city streets. Two men dragged a large black garbage bag through the back alley behind an abandoned warehouse. Inside the bag, Sophia was barely breathing. One of the men laughed nervously. "You sure she's dead?" Daniel's voice answered coldly, "She's nobody now." Then they threw her away like trash and drove off into the storm. But fate wasn't finished with her yet. A young sanitation worker named Marcus was finishing his night shift nearby, 24 years old. Poor, exhausted, working endless night shifts to pay for his sick mother's medication. Life had been cruel to Marcus, but somehow, pain made him kinder, not colder. As he loaded trash bags into the truck, he suddenly froze. A sound. Weak, almost impossible to hear. Breathing. Marcus slowly walked toward the black garbage bag. Rain soaked his clothes as he knelt beside it. Then suddenly, a trembling hand pushed through the plastic. Marcus jumped back in shock. Oh my God. He ripped the bag open, and there she was. A beautiful young woman, bruised, unconscious, barely alive. For a second, Marcus just stared at her, not because of her beauty, but because no human deserved to be thrown away like that. He didn't hesitate. He carried Sophia into his truck and sped toward the nearest hospital. Doctors later said another 30 minutes, and she would have died. For 3 days, Sophia remained unconscious. And for 3 days, Marcus stayed beside her hospital bed, even after working all night, even when nurses told him to go home and rest. Something about her pain felt familiar to him, like he understood loneliness too well. On the 4th morning, Sophia slowly opened her eyes, confused, terrified, weak. Marcus smiled gently. "You're safe now." Sophia stared at him silently. Then tears rolled down her face. Not because of the pain, but because a stranger showed her more humanity than her own husband ever did. Weeks passed. Sophia slowly recovered. Marcus brought her food after work, made terrible jokes to make her smile, protected her privacy, and never once asked for money. Never once asked who she really was. That mattered to Sophia more than he realized, because for the first time in years, someone cared about her without wanting something in return. But they didn't know. Daniel was celebrating. He forged ownership papers, took control of Sophia's businesses, sold properties, spent millions, and publicly announced that his mentally unstable wife had disappeared. People believed him because powerful lies often sound like truth. Until one morning, everything changed. Sophia sat quietly inside Marcus's tiny apartment watching television. Daniel appeared on the screen wearing a luxury suit, pretending to be a grieving husband. That was the moment something inside her finally broke. Not her heart, her weakness. Sophia slowly stood up, and for the first time since the betrayal, she smiled. But this wasn't the smile of a victim. It was the smile of someone dangerous. Marcus looked at her carefully. "What are you thinking?" Sophia's eyes darkened. "I'm thinking," she paused. "The people who tried to bury me forgot one thing." Marcus stayed silent. Sophia looked toward the city skyline. You can't destroy someone who has nothing left to fear. And from that moment, everything changed. For months, Sophia disappeared from public view. No interviews, no drama, no revenge posts online. Just silence, dangerous silence. While the world believed she was broken, Sophia was rebuilding, secretly contacting lawyers loyal to her father, recovering hidden accounts Daniel never found, gathering evidence, preparing, patiently, quietly, and one by one, Daniel's empire started collapsing. Business partners vanished, investors backed away, bank accounts froze, lawyers stopped answering his calls. Daniel felt the pressure rising, but he still had no idea why, until one invitation arrived. A luxury charity gala hosted by Monroe Global Holdings, the same company Daniel believed he controlled. The night of the gala finally arrived. Luxury cars lined the streets. Cameras flashed everywhere. Powerful businessmen filled the ballroom. Daniel walked inside confidently in a black tuxedo, smiling, arrogant, certain he still owned the world. But then, the music stopped. The room fell silent, and every head slowly turned toward the grand staircase. Daniel's smile disappeared instantly, because standing at the top of the stairs was Sophia, alive, elegant, untouchable, wearing a breathtaking black gown covered in diamonds. The same woman he dumped like trash now owned the building he was standing in. Whispers exploded across the ballroom. "She's alive. That's Sophia Monroe, the billionaire heiress?" Daniel's face turned pale. His hands trembled. "No, that's impossible." Sophia walked slowly down the staircase like a queen returning to claim her throne. Calm, cold, powerful. Every camera in the room turned toward her. Daniel stepped backward in panic, because in that moment, he realized the terrifying truth. He never truly knew his wife. Sophia stopped directly in front of him. Daniel tried to speak, but fear stole his voice. Then Sophia leaned closer and whispered, "You should have checked the garbage more carefully." Daniel froze. The ballroom exploded with shock. Seconds later, police officers entered alongside Sophia's legal team. Fraud charges, forgery, money laundering, attempted murder, everything. Daniel panicked instantly. This is a misunderstanding. But nobody listened anymore, because powerful people only stay powerful while their secrets survive. And Daniel's secrets were finally dead. As security dragged him away in front of cameras, he screamed Sophia's name, begged her, cried, but Sophia never reacted, because some betrayals kill love forever. Later that night, Sophia stood quietly outside the ballroom staring at the city lights. Marcus walked over beside her. "You okay?" Sophia looked at him for a long moment, then smiled softly. "You saved my life." Marcus shook his head gently. "No." He looked at her proudly. "You saved yourself. I just opened the bag." And honestly, he was right. Because the moment Sophia stopped seeing herself as a victim, everything changed. You see, some people only love you when they can control you. Some people smile in your face while secretly waiting for your downfall. And sometimes, the people who save your life won't be rich, won't be famous, won't even know your real name. They'll just have a good heart. Sophia learned something painful. The most dangerous enemies aren't strangers. They're the people pretending to love you while planning your destruction. But she also learned something powerful. Being broken doesn't mean being finished. Sometimes life breaks you so completely that you finally discover who you really are. People can bury your body, but they can never bury your value, and the people who throw you away often regret it. The moment you stop needing them. Subscribe to Broken Then Powerful for more stories like this. And remember, never underestimate the person you tried to bury.